Hello and welcome to Toby's Blogs. Today I'm going to be talking about Doctor Who and the Interstellar Song Contest. So I thought I would make a video talking about the shock reveal and all the reveals in that episode, considering we're going to go into the finale and going to kind of try to piece some things together, and my thoughts on the shock reveals. So the first shock reveal, spoilers, if you haven't watched the episode, don't watch this video because it will contain spoilers. So the first shock reveal, Susan, like that was so unexpected. I was sitting down on my like bed watching this and going, yeah, normal Doctor Who, and then Susan I actually sat up and went for like the whole time that sequence was on. I was like, it's Susan! That was so cool. I can't believe it. Like, yeah, seeing Carol Ann Ford again on Doctor Who was amazing, and I was so shocked, and I really wasn't expecting that to happen, and then it happened, and I was like, oh my god, this is so cool, this is so good. Susan's in it. Even though we've got a tiny little appearance from Susan, it was still amazing. And then through the whole episode I was thinking, oh, it's going to be a big reveal episode, you know, it's been spoiler, like Russell T Davies even put a video saying that you have to watch this video live or whatever, it contains spoilers. So I was at work all day, I had to avoid spoilers all day, I had to stay off Facebook, I stayed off YouTube, I avoided spoilers all day, so I watched the episode without any spoilers at all, and it was, yeah. And so I was waiting for the whole time for this massive spoiler of who Miss Flood it is. It was kind of spoiled or whatever, that Mrs. Flood would be revealed in this episode. And so I was like, when's this going to happen? When's it going to happen? Then we got to the end of the episode. I'm like, it hasn't happened yet. And then we got to the end of the episode, and then we got this reveal of who Mrs. Flood is, and eventually it is revealed that she is the Rani. And there was one thing that really pissed me off about that reveal, and that was the Bi-Regeneration. Like, that really pissed me off. I'm like, we're doing this again? Really? I really hate this Bi-Regeneration thing, because first we had it with, you know, Ncuti and David Tennant's Doctor Bi-Regenerating. Okay, fine, that it was a one-off thing, but now it seems like it's the norm now, and that's really annoying. And now every incarnation of whoever Time Lord it is now getting split in two, and it just seems really stupid. And also my views on the Rani. The Rani just seems such an obvious choice. Like, everyone kept saying to me, oh, she's the Rani, she's the Rani. I'm like, no, it's not the Rani. That's so obvious that she's the Rani. They wouldn't go for that. And it was so obvious that she's going to be the Rani, and then she turns out to be the Rani. And I was like, well, that was a bit obvious, wasn't it? Like, they went for the obvious choice that everyone's been talking about. It's the Rani. And my feelings of the Rani, I think the actress who came out as the Rani seemed amazing. She, from the tiny little piece we've had of her, she just seems like she's so Rani. Like, she is like, picks up the Rani mannerisms and the personality of the Rani. Where I felt like Miss Flood really isn't the Rani to me. Like, her, like, if you look at her through series 1, series 2, where is Rani? Where is the Rani in her? Like, that's not Rani style, that's not the Rani, what the Rani does, that's not what the Rani is. You know, like, living next door to a companion, is that the Rani? No, that's not. Like, the Rani is a scientist. Like, that is at her core. She is an unethical scientist. That is what her character is, and that's what her character has to remain. And I just feel like Mrs. Flood wasn't really that character. Like, throughout her appearances, you know, like, her style was more of the master style, you know, kind of like the long game. Like, oh, I'll play the game, I'll play the long game, and I'll get through it all, and eventually, ta-da, here I am. That's the more the master style. That's not the Rani style, really, to play the long game, like live next door to companions and do all these other things. I don't think that's really the Rani style. So to me, Mrs. Flood doesn't really, to me, she's not the Rani, because she doesn't have the Rani's attitude, the Rani's mentality, the Rani's unethical, you know, that mindset. You know, to me, she doesn't seem like the Rani. Whereas the other character who came out, I don't know the actress's name, But she came out, she's like so the Rani, like the dress, the way she looked, the way she presented herself, the way she talked, the way she moved. It was like, so she is the Rani. Like she says, I am the Rani, the definite article, you might say. And like you believe her, like she is the Rani. She has the look, the mentality, the way she talks, whereas Mrs. Flood, not really. And so so I look forward, and then Mrs. Flood seems to become like a little sidekick kind of character, and I just feel like if they're both the Rani, like you have the two masters, or you have something like they will collide, like they do not gel when they might gel, but you know, like there's still, each of them is the character, like two masters, they are still the master, the two still ruthless, and they will backstab each other, that's the master. But you know, like the Rani, I just feel like if they bi-regenerated, they should still be the Rani, both of them Rani-esque. And I don't think the Rani would very much like to be talked down to and stuff like that, so I don't think that's really the Rani style. So that's where this kind of bi-regeneration thing doesn't really work out. I know it's kind of why they did it, so they could have Mrs. Flood in the finale, but I just feel like Mrs. Flood should have just regenerated into that new person and she became the Rani, and that's how I feel about that. And I look forward to kind of moving forward in this. And also another thing that I thought about with the whole Susan thing is that if the universe, or if the planet Earth was destroyed on May the 24th 2025, and throughout the entire season people haven't heard of the humans or the Earth, and it is established that in the future people do not know about the humans and the Earth, therefore the Dalek invasion of Earth never happened, and as a result Susan was never abandoned on Earth. And it just seems so silly that, you know, like, so her timeline doesn't exist anymore. And that's another thing that people aren't really talking about, is that Susan's timeline doesn't exist anymore because the Earth was destroyed in 2025. And so the Dalek invasion of Earth never happened because there's no Earth for the Daleks to invade, you know. So that's another thing. And the last thing I'm going to talk about is the Unholy Trinity that's kind of been rumoured for the finale episode. So apparently the two Ranis are one version of the Unholy Trinity. We have Conrad, who is another unholy. That doesn't really make sense to me either, because on one hand you have Time Lords, and then you have Conrad, and it's like, they're like Time Lords, all powerful, all knowing, kind of like we can do all sorts of scientific stuff and transgress time. And then you have Conrad, who's just a troublemaker. And like, it just, I don't think Conrad is member of the Holy Trinity, because why would he be a member of the Unholy Trinity? He's just a man, he's just a human, unless that's a part of it, like you have God, Time Lord, human, that sort of a thing, Unholy Trinity. But I feel like there's something more to this. Like Rusty Davies has said, the two Ranis are one part of the Trinity, so there's two more places. One, it's been assumed, is Conrad, which I think is weird because he's just a human, unless he's something else that we don't know yet. But and then there's this other one that people are rumouring that is Omega. And like, if people are rumouring it's Omega and it turns out to be Omega, that is kind of like stating the obvious again, really, isn't it? Like with the Rani, it was like, oh, it's the Rani. I was like, no, it's not the Rani, that's too obvious. And then it's the Rani. And like people go, oh no, it's Omega. Oh no, it can't be Omega, that's too obvious. Oh, it's Omega. So it'd be nice to see Omega again, back from the classic series and coming back in his glory. It would have been nice to have Stephen Thorne voicing him again, but that's unfortunately that can't happen because he's dead. But yeah, Omega coming back would be great. Rassilon, not too fussed about that. Omega would be better than Rassilon. And then other people are saying it could be another god. Okay, that could be another god, another someone we don't know. And there's this 160-year thing in place, and people say that could be Susan in the future in 160 years or so, but then Earth isn't there in 160 years, so that's another thing you've got to think about. The Earth isn't there because it's been destroyed, so therefore that future doesn't exist. So I don't know what's going to happen really with the Unholy Trinity thing, but it could be interesting. Conrad was a bloody irritating character. Like, I've watched loads of reviews. I do watch lots of reaction reviews as well of people to get their views of what they think about the episode. And Conrad was a bloody irritating character, and like, he was so frustrating and annoying, and you just wanted him to die. But he didn't die, and he's back in the finale, which is if you get one of those characters which you really hate, you don't really want to see them come back. That's why, like, when I watched Avatar, and I really, really, really hated that villain who was in Avatar, and then he came back for the second one, and I was like, no, I'm not. I hated that. I hated the Avatar 2 film. I was like, nope. They brought him back. I hated him. Hated that film. Also didn't help that sitting in the that 4D thing for like 3 hours. Anyway, that's a completely different thing. But, you know, I don't like when irritating characters come back, because it's like they were bloody irritating the first time. They mucked everything about, and now they're coming back again, and it's irritating. So we'll have to see what happens in the finale. I'm excited for the Rani aspect of it, that we have the Rani. The Rani I'm more excited about than Mrs. Flood's Rani, because she doesn't seem like she's the Rani to me. But the Rani, with that fantastic actress, she just seems perfect casting for the role of the Rani, and I'm excited to see what happens with her. And excited to see what happens with this Unholy Trinity. Who else is in the Trinity? Been rumoured the Master's coming back, because Michelle Gomez was at the premiere for the first episode or something, and I absolutely adore Missy. She's like one of my favourite Masters, and I love Missy's character. Michelle Gomez is amazing in everything she does, so I look forward to if Missy is back. But another thing, we don't want to destroy Missy's the Master's end arc, which was her redemption, and the Master's redemption when she finally helped the Doctor and she died helping the Doctor. And that was such a beautiful arc for the Master to finally, that was the end of the Master's, and it was so beautiful that that was the end of it. And I feel like we shouldn't tamper with that, and then any Masters that come back in Doctor Who should be before Missy. But yeah, that's my opinions of that reveal. And if you'd like to see more Doctor Who videos, then comment down below. I don't tend to make videos very often these days because of comments and people being nasty and all sorts of rubbish that people throw at me. And if you do want to see more content, please comment down below, because I will make some. But I just don't like negative comments that people leave. I'd rather not have that negativity in my life, and then go forward with more positive energy. But yeah, if you want to see more, comment down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.